y'all, it's Elisha and welcome back to Elisha's Crafty Hoplop. To my new folks, welcome. And I see there are several of you. Miss Pat let me know that I've had a bunch of new people join the Hoplop land and we want you to feel super comfortable here. To my returning folks, happy Sunday, y'all. Happy Sunday. Well, y'all know I missed yesterday's Newbie Saturday video, and that was for problems, I hadn't slept in 48 hours. And I always do a video on the weekends, on Saturdays now, typically to offer tips to crafters new and those who are far more experienced and people like me who are somewhere in the middle of that journey. And I had many requests for a video on scissors. And initially I said, no, y'all. I don't feel like I'm an expert on scissors. I feel like we need scissors are really a particular thing. But when asking around, nobody seemed very keen on doing a scissor video. And I was still looking and I got people writing and asking again, saying, could you please do one on scissors? I need help the most with scissors. So folks, I'm doing the scissor video today. My upfront disclaimer is I am by no means an expert on scissors. I'm going to share with you right up front that for my first year of crafting, I used these dollar store scissors that I now use only for items like cutting wire, and we're going to talk about what I use these for and why. But for my first year, I'm going to share with you, I used this even for fussy cutting. That's why I couldn't fussy cut, y'all. That's why. And I didn't realize that. Scissors are one of the most important tools you can own. I know that now. When you see how many I have, you're going to be like, whoa. But each one has a purpose and each one has a reason, and we're going to talk about that. It also, for those of us with hand issues, anyone with arthritis, anyone with fibromyalgia, MS, any autoimmune condition, anyone with a skeletal issue in their hands, anyone who's had a stroke, I'm going to share with you why I have certain scissors and for when, because it actually makes a huge difference to those of us with hand issues. So I'm going to do my best, y'all, with a disclaimer up front that for the first year, I used these from the dollar store. And that was a huge mistake. I thought I couldn't cut. I thought I couldn't cut straight. I thought I was incapable of fussy cutting. So you're going to learn what I've learned. And again, knowing I'm by no means an expert. People like Monty, the polka dot pine cone, who's been crafting 25 plus years. People like Miss Judy. They're far more knowledgeable, y'all, than I am. I'll share with you what I've learned. I will also share with you up front. I have a combination of Tonic meets Tim Holtz. And I'm going to explain to you why. Some people prefer a Tonic scissor. Some people prefer a Tim Holtz scissor. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I mix and match, what my reasons are, and what I use them for. But let's start with this beauty, because this was a surprise Happy Mail from Miss Susan Tootsie Tucker. I was so excited, Susan, when I opened this. You all know that the angels gifted me the exact scissors in the small, not the mini, the small and the medium. And the reason the angel got me that is because the small is really good for, if you're doing the amount of fussy cutting I've been doing, it's really good for getting the shape without doing the close to fussy cutting. And the mediums are strong enough to cut through chipboard and they're not as heavy. So they thought, okay, this is a good starter. But Susan saw that I was using the mediums for chipboard and she knew if she got me these, my life would be so much easier. Oh, folks, these won't just be easier for chipboard. This is going to be easier for everything because Susan got me the 9.5 inch. These are the jumbos. And so let me tell you a little bit about my Tim Holtz scissors. They're the special ones. And Misty C, hi Misty. Folks, Misty doesn't make videos, but she does watch. And I want to say again, she's such a generous soul. She always texts me if there's a sale, if there's a product available, if there's one she thought I could use that would be put to better use or I could do something easier. Misty is so generous. She always lets me know. Always. And I'm so grateful to her. She is a huge asset to our craft community. And we miss her videos so very much. But I'm blessed that she still keeps in contact. And I want to say, Misty, thank you. Thank you so very much. So Misty was the one who taught me about these scissors. And then I passed that information along to Lizzie when the angels gifted her scissors, because you kind of have to understand Tim Holtz scissors. There are different types, y'all. But the magical kind that the angels got me and Miss Susan got me are what you call the double scissors. Why are they magical? Well, one side is serrated and one side is clean. And all you have to do, y'all, is flip them over. So you get one side serrated and one side clean. that makes them a scissor that can be used for anything. Like, as I said, it'll cut chipboard, or I can clean cut wrapping paper. If I want to, I can use the clean side. I am a huge fan of these scissors. Again, some people like the Tonic ones, which is what I got my die cut partner. I got her the other kind, and I'll show you. This is a pair I got for Elisha Love Letter Generation. Hobby Lobby had them on sale. Look at this, y'all. It was cheaper than the Tonic sale. It was $12.99 originally, reduced to $3.24. But these are left-handed, because Elisha Love Letter Generation is left-handed. But basically, this is the same scissor as this. And some people like this one, and some people like this one. This does not come with the flip-over dual side. I'm just going to tell you that. They're both beveled. This says it does have the double beveled edge. So maybe I'm wrong. It says it does have it, but I understand it doesn't necessarily. But these are also titanium coated blades, just as these are. Why does that make a difference? Well, I'm a messy maker, y'all. That means they clean up with a baby wipe. They do. And if I spill something really tough on it, like, let's say I spilled like EC6000, which I wouldn't do because I love these scissors, but if I did, these alcohol wipes that the angel sent me for disinfecting, oh, they're also magical for cleaning up your craft mess. Those of us who are messy makers, Linda's Thrifty Life, another self-proclaimed messy maker, get yourself these and keep them. I keep this nearby and this nearby at all times. If this doesn't take it off, this will. It's remarkable. So I love a titanium coated scissor, be it either the Holtz or the Tonic, because the cleanup of them is simple. You don't have to do Miss Judy's cleaning method of soaking it in alcohol like I used to have to do. Oh, folks, you have no idea how much scissor cleaning I was doing. These just wipe clean. So they're both good for that reason. Miss Susan gifted me these because she knew this was going to make my life so much easier. And it is. Thank you so much, Susan. I just want to say a big thank you to you. This was such a thoughtful gift. Now, folks, I'm going to share something with you. These are a bit heavy. So when I compare the weight of the two, these are heavier than these. People with hand issues, you need to know that. They're only moderately heavier. But I'm going to tell you there's a reason for that. It makes it easy to cut. Like, you need a little heft in your scissor to actually get into heavy materials like I use extra thick chipboard. That's really why Susan got this for me. Because I was able to do it with the mediums, but I had to put in some arm work. But now that I have this size, cutting chipboard's going to be a breeze, y'all. And that's why you need the weight. The scissor may be a bit heavier, but it's going to cut through chipboard. And that matters. To those of us that use thick chipboard, not thin or medium, you need a good scissor. And so, Susan, thank you. This was such a special gift. So I'm not saying that the Tonic scissors won't cut that, but they are lighter. So you are going to have to put in some more muscle, right? That puts less strain on my hands. So that's the thing I'm going to tell you. So I use my Tonic scissors for cutting paper down, for cards. I use it for cutting wrapping paper. I do use the small ones for doing the first cut of fussy cutting. So like for instance, when I'm fussy cutting out digitals that look like this, I find it easier for my hands to cut out a circle around it first. And then I use my fussy cutting scissors to get in close. So when I cut that first circle, I use my medium Holtz scissors. I basically now have these in every size. I don't have the minis, but I don't need the minis because I'm going to show you why. I have exactly what I need, the small, the medium, and the large. And so I use the mediums or the smalls to cut that circle, depending upon the size of the page. I love those Holtz scissors. Now, after an hour, it's hard on my hands. So those of you with hand issues, fibromyalgia, chronic arthritis, any kind of autoimmune disease that affects your joints, after an hour of using the Holtz scissors and cutting, it's going to be a little painful. That's when I switch to these. I'm going to show you. I just got these for Miss Pat for the same reason. So these are the spring scissors, and they're not for big cutting, y'all. You wouldn't use this to cut a big old sheet of chipboard. You wouldn't use this to cut wrapping paper. This is precision cutting. This is a fussy cutting scissor. You can see that the blade on this, what does it say? It's spring action. It doesn't tell us the dimension of the blade, but I'd say it's under 3 inches, just so you can see. All right, so I'm going to show you the pair that Cruz got me. Cruz's blade is a lot longer, and I'm going to tell you I use this actually not for fussy cutting. Cruz got this for me for fussy cutting, but I actually use this for other things, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. These are super strong. I don't know where Cruz got these, but folks, you could cut a wire with these. It's so impressive. So I use these for something different. I use these for fussy cutting when my hand gets tired. So after an hour of cutting with my small scissors from Tim Holtz, I switch to these because when my hand's tired, it takes the pressure off. If you have a lot of problems with your hands, if your fibromyalgia is dominant in your hands, or like Pat, you live with MS, you probably want these most of all scissors because it really, the springs make it possible. So I kind of have a tiered system. If I've got about 2.5 hours of fussy cutting to do, I cut for about the first 45 minutes to an hour with my Tim Holtz. Then I switch to these to take the pressure off my hands. And that buys me some more time. Then when I'm tired of that and my hands are still hurting but I have more cutting to do, then I use precision scissors. Now I have 2 pairs. I have the pair from Tonic, and this is what they look like. They're a lot lighter and they're cushioned. But the truth is these are still a bit heavy. And I didn't know that when I bought them. So guess what I replaced them with? The really cheap We Are Memory Keeper scissors. Now I'm going to warn you, they're not the best scissor. They don't cut that great. You have to be super careful. But they're light, y'all. They're super light. And I understand that the Dollar Tree Crafter's Corner scissors are very similar to the We Are Memory Keeper scissors. Now, why can't I share them to you right now? Well, it's Sunday and the blades are soaking in alcohol. Why are they soaking in alcohol? Because they're not titanium coated like these. And I was doing some fussy cutting this morning and they got some stuff on them. To clean those, I have to use Miss Judy's method. I have to soak it in cleanser, like rubbing alcohol. And then when it gets loose, I have to scrape everything off. They are a lot of work to maintain, but they're so light, they're feather light, that if my hands are really hurting or I've done too much fussy cutting but I have to finish, that's the scissor I reach for. But that's because of a hand issue. If I didn't have hand issues, I would never use those scissors, y'all. And it's too much maintenance. They're not that great, so you have to be super careful when cutting with them. And I find them like they're a lot more mental concentration. If these were a bit lighter, this is what I would use because these are titanium coated. They do clean up easily. These clean up with either a baby wipe or if you're spilled EC6000, which I wouldn't do, you could use these. So you have to decide for yourself based on what your needs are. For me, I have to use those We Are Memory Keeper scissors because if I'm cutting a whole pack of ephemera and I'm building it up on cardstock to gift somebody, I end up needing to use those scissors because it's too hard on my hands. So I start with the Tim Holtz. I go to, where did I put it down? Oh no. I start with the Tim Holtz. I go to the spring scissors. When my hand hurts from that, I go to these or the We Are Memory Keepers. And that's sort of how I manage it. So if you have hand issues, unfortunately, you need more scissors because unless you just don't cut more than an hour at a time. But I find if I'm doing an ephemera pack, I don't want to stop till it's finished. And that means I need 3 different types of scissors. If I didn't have hand issues, if you didn't have arthritis in your hands or autoimmune, you could just buy the mini Tim Holtz or the Tonic. You wouldn't need all these other scissors. That said, Paper Milkshake doesn't have a hand issue, and she relies on these a lot and finds them much easier. So you have to decide for yourself, y'all, what you need. All right, so those are for basic, like paper cutting, chipboard cutting, wrapping paper cutting, basic paper cutting, right? Well, these are vital. The first pair I bought from Hobby Lobby at the Hobby Lobby sale. And I paid $1.50 for them, and they weren't very good quality. And that matters. So, I like a bargain, but that was no bargain because I had to replace them. It was better than a regular scissor. So what the heck are these? These are the little snippet scissors that you use to cut those little annoying tiny threads. So like when you're laying down trim and it has tassels, right? And one's sticking out the wrong way and you got to clip it, these. When you're doing threads behind ephemera, yeah, if you use like a regular scissor, good luck to you. They don't cut teeny little silky fabrics, and they sure don't like to cut embroidery floss. But these are magical. And as soon as even my inexpensive, terrible Hobby Lobby ones were better than my regular scissors. And in the Holy Land, I managed it with these. But I gotta tell you, it was frustrating, beyond frustrating. And half the time, my fussy cutting scissors frayed my stuff. And I had to like burn it off. Now that I have these, my life is so much easier. It's a quick little snip. That's it. And so, again, my first pair came from Hobby Lobby at the sale. And I thought, well, you know, they look fine. And they were cute too. They were pink. Folks, they were crappy. I replaced them with the Tonic ones. And I love the Tonic ones. I'm a huge fan of these. So that's my little thread, you know, tassel making, anything like little threads behind ephemera. This is what I use. Okay. So what do I use these for that Cruz sent me? Well, Cruz got them for me to fussy cut. But if you notice, the blade is a little too long for me, for fussy cutting. I need a shorter blade. I need more control when I'm fussy cutting. I'm not such a good cutter. I struggled to, when I first came on here, I told you all I can't fussy cut. I can now. But I need a shorter blade. I need to keep control over a shorter blade. And if you watched like people's videos in the last 2 weeks, I told you all I learned how to fussy cut from Kayla, who told me don't move the scissors, move the paper. And then Jelly Bean and Tammy Stamping Therapy showed you how, which I thought was very useful. But in order to keep control, I need a small blade. These for me, the Tonic ones are a small blade. The ones Cruz sent me are not a small blade. So I was like really interested in these scissors though, because again, they're really good for people with hand issues because they are springy, right? So it takes the pressure off. They are heavier. I'm going to tell you this. They're much heavier than the Tonic ones. So that puts a little extra pressure. But y'all, these cut wire like magic. I don't know where Cruz got them. They're made by Happy Hydro. You'll have to ask Cruz, Crafting Con Cruz, where she got them. These are razor sharp. So if I'm cutting like a denser material or a wire, these are my go-to scissors. I think these are floral cutting scissors. I think they were originally designed, I'm guessing, again, I'm no expert, but I think these were for floral stems and things like that, and that's what they cut perfectly. You know when you get the Prima floral pieces and they have the wire and I want to shorten them? Oh, I reach for these. These are fabulous. Oh my goodness. And you know the floral wiring you can get at the Dollar Tree? Oh, these are amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. They are coated. So again, I don't know, they're Teflon coated. It says Teflon right on it. They clean up so beautifully. This is one of my favorite scissors of all time. All time. And they haven't gotten nicked or ruined from cutting. I really think they were designed for floral cutting because they're powerful blades. You don't want to get your finger in there. They're serious sharp. All right. But let's say you didn't want to make an investment in something like this. Maybe you don't cut wire a lot or you don't cut floral piece wire a lot. I can tell you how you can get around it. And I know Tony Craft Purge also does this. And I was glad she admitted that. So like Tony, so once I figured out, these were the Westcott scissors I had bought from the Dollar Tree. And I was using my first year of crafting. I don't know what I was thinking, y'all. I mean, not only are they like not pointy, they're terrible for fussy cutting. They don't cut straight. The blades are terrible. You got to clean them all the time. But that's what I was using. That's what I was using, y'all. All right. What they are great for, and Tony uses it this way too, is if you don't want to invest in a good wire cutter because you're not going to use them that often, these are $1. And Tony uses hers to cut things like wire and things that will ruin your other scissors because they're only $1 and you can replace them. So they're great for that. I also keep a pair by the front door. This is what I use to open up your packages, your boxes, all my incoming items that I order. I use these for that. Now, the downside is, again, I'm going to show you because they're about to be cleaned. See, I opened packages today. See that tape? That stuck to them. If you were using your Tim Holtz scissors or you were using your Tonic scissors, you wouldn't have any of that, y'all. You wouldn't have that sticking to it. And this will not come off so easy. Now, I will tell you again, these are magical. So I'm going to show you. Watch. Wait, that's not the one that's open. Where's my one that's open? You know what? I was cleaning, so I think I have it in the other area. And I don't want to open it up again, but I will show you that what happens is, I mean, basically you have to pick off whatever it is, and then you got to clean it with rubbing alcohol. Or you can use Miss Judy's glue tip cleaning method to clean your scissors. That works too. So the dollar store scissors, basically, I still buy. And like Tony, I use it for opening packages or cutting into materials that will ruin my good quality scissors. Things that like I would never use my good scissors for, because at $1 I can always replace them. So if they get nicked or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I haven't had to replace these this year, but sometimes you have to. And we both just get rid of them once we ruin them. Again, this year I haven't had to, but usually I would have to. So that's what I use the dollar scissors for. My last pair I won't even bring out and put amongst these because I don't want them ever to be near paper. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally use them on paper, and I have learned you never let your fabric scissors touch paper, ever. And this is a really important thing, and I learned it from Misty, Dina, This Mama Loves Disney, and P. Fabric scissors should never touch paper. You will ruin your scissors. And this year for my birthday, Miss Dina gifted me a pair of shears, about the same size, just a little bit smaller. Maybe they're 7.5 inches. Great size blade. Dina gifted me a pair of fabric scissors. And those I keep in a drawer in my craft room, and they never come near my other scissors. Because unfortunately, y'all, the handles are all about the same except for the Tim Holtz ones. The Tim Holtz ones have a distinctive handle and a black handle. But all my other scissors basically are blue and white, including the ones that Dina sent me. So I don't want to ever get them confused with my paper scissors and ruin them. So I keep them in a separate area, whereas these I all keep in a organizer on my table. So those are all the scissors that I use. I will tell you, I do use a small rotary cutter from Tim Holtz for doing circular cuts. I did tell you all that some people prefer the Olfa, is that how you pronounce it? The Olfa brand, which you can get on Amazon for $13 and change. It's a rotary cutter that will cut fabric and it'll cut paper. I don't do that much circular cutting. What you use a rotary cutter for is, like, remember I showed you when I made, do I have it here? No, I put it away. I really have done, I'm only down to my last 10%, so everything is put away. I can't show you. But when you're making, let's say, a purse, and you want to cut out the handle with an oval cut, you would use the rotary cutter for that. It works much better than a craft blade. I know when I first started, I bought the Fiskars finger hold craft blade cutter, and it works fine. But I don't use it that much, y'all. You know what I use it for? Cutting out windows and boxes. I don't use it very often. But this little rotary cutter I got, and I got it from Tonic. It's a Tim Holtz product. It's about $3.95. I used when I cut ovals in shapes because it rolls. So it's easier to use than a craft knife. And I find because of my lack of hand control because of the stroke, it's much easier to use. Now, if you don't have any hand issues, you can probably just use your craft knife. I just find that it's easier on my hand. I don't have much control still. I tell y'all, I have some weakness in this arm. So for me, that made a big difference. And at $3.95, it was worth getting. We Are Memory Keepers has one for $6, twice as expensive, and I hear not as good. If you're going to be doing a lot of the burnt flowers made from fabric, which I sometimes do, that's why Dina got me the scissors, because I didn't have craft scissors in it, the fabric scissors, and it was so hard to make those, not having the right scissors. But if you're going to make tons of those fabric flowers, I would suggest getting the Olfa rotary cutter. I'll put a link to it down below. It's from Amazon. I'll put a direct link in the comment section. That allows you to cut a circle, either in paper or in fabric, much easier. I don't need a large rotary cutter to cut a circle in paper anymore, but for fabric, if I was making a lot of those burnt flowers, I would order this item. Because I just tend to use it to cut out ovals in boxes, 3D projects basically, I bought the small Tim Holtz rotary cutter. So that is my explanation of my scissors. I want to stress again, I am by no means an expert. I learned these lessons the hard way by using the wrong scissors. That's the truth. I learned the hard way, and I started asking people. And it was people like Kayla Penpal Mama who told me, okay, girly, move the paper, not the scissors. And then I found out that nobody was using these for fussy cutting. I understand Maymay likes a fussy cutting scissor called a Cuttlebee, and it looks a lot like this. It's just in yellow. So I think most people like a precision scissor for fussy cutting. You have to decide what size blade you like. That's maybe the toughest choice about a fussy. So this Tonic one is a little wider and a little longer than I love. The We Are Memory Keepers one is thinner and the blade is very narrow, so you can really get into corners. But the blade is not great quality. There is a vast difference in quality between that pair of scissors and this one. So while this is a little tougher to get into those corners, this cuts way better. But when my hands are tired, those We Are Memory Keeper scissors saves the day, y'all. So again, if you're living with, the aftermaths of a stroke, you have chronic arthritis, fibromyalgia, MS, you probably want a pair of those lightweight scissors from We Are Memory Keepers or from the Dollar Tree. Just know they're not great scissors, so you are going to have to work a bit harder at cutting, but they'll save your hands. I hope this is helpful. Again, I'm probably the wrong person to do this video, but since you asked twice, I wanted to honor it. A big thank you again to Susan Tootsie Tucker for these amazing scissors, which I am breaking out today to use on chipboard. Yay! And a thank you to Dina for buying me my first and only ever pair of fabric scissors that I use all the time. And a big thank you to Cruz for these. These are magical, y'all. Again, you're going to have to ask Cruz where she got these. I have never seen them before. Teflon coated, Happy Hydro. They're fantastic. If you do a lot of floral work, these are something. Or if you do mixed media with metal, great scissors. All right, y'all. I hope that was really helpful. I'm going to go take a little walk, and then I'm going to be back because I have mail from Soleil all the way from down under. I cannot wait. All right, wishing you a happy and a healthy and a super creative Sunday. I'll see y'all real soon. Bye for now.